Hello everybody and welcome to BroomWagon. You will not get there on a road bike for the 8th season in a row. Stefano at the BroomWagon Podcast is here to make your ear sparkling happy with all the things that are in this podcast. Everything, news, informations, just long chitty chats with people I love. That's what the BroomWagon is. People that are doing things in a different way on 3 different pillars. Inclusion, everybody's welcome here on the BroomWagon. Sustainability, because we all know that we are not green superheroes just because we ride our bikes, but there are different things that we can do in another way or better. And the why not approach. The guest of this episode says it really well. If nobody does something, why complain? Just do it better yourself. And that's the way that we like to talk about cycling. The BroomWagon Podcast, talk about cycling with cycling, is just an excuse to hear some good stories for the 8th season in a row. I don't have it on top of my head and I don't have the dashboard on my screen at the moment, but I would say that we already ran over to almost 270 episodes. Is it not incredible? It's just awesome. Awesome, like all of you people that are listening to these episodes. Before going further on this season number 8, let's say what we need to say all the time. Please listen to this episode in any podcast provider of your choice and be sure to put a review, put a 5-star, ring the bell button, do whatever you want to do, but do it now. And the most important thing of all, share these episodes with a friend of yours. Whoever, your family member, whoever you think would be interested on these chitty chats. Sharing personally is the best thing that you can do. If you want then support in any other way, down in the description below there is a coffee link. There you can drop some coins and make this podcast a bit more independent. Hopefully we're gonna have some sponsor this year, but nothing like a title sponsor or a full season sponsor because and also because we like to be independent. I like to be independent. Let's see how the thing is gonna develop, but coffee link down there and you can support the BroomWagon Podcast. Instagram, CalamaroCC and the BroomWagon Podcast to get all the stories. And let's move forward with the episode of today. The episode of today is with a guest, with a person, with a champion, with an amazing person, an amazing rider. Actually, he's an amazing person that happened to be as well an amazing rider who was all over the place, all over the internet for his amazing things that he had done in 2024. Something like winning the Tour Divide, the Arizona Trail, the Colorado Timber Trail. You know whom I'm talking about, right? Justinas Leveika, that is doing also something new this time. He's organizing a bikepacking event race. I know what you're meaning here at the moment. He already organizes one, the Bright Midnight. Now he's starting a new one, a winter bikepacking race. The Fat Midnight. Do you want to know more? Take a wish. You already wished it? Then be my guest. Talking about being my guest, you see the photo on the episode image. Well, this is taken by Rupert Hartley, co-founder of one of my favorite cycling clothing company, probably my favorite one. I'm talking about Albion, but also hyper talented photographer. He can really catch the soul of people with his camera. Well, if you want to find him, you can go to Substract, and of course it's Rupert Hartley or Rupert Hartley Photos on Instagram. No worries, people. My pronunciation is what it is. Everything is down in the description below. Rupert, you are super talented. And now, yo, Justinas, it's your turn.
3, 1, 2, 3, sound checking.
Justinas, it works. How you doing, man? I love actually to start episodes in this way. How you doing?
Loud and clear. You hear me loud and clear.
That's incredibly good. As you understood, people, I'm here today talking with... I will make the classic mistake, like last time, actually chitty-chatting also in front of the amazing Lemon Lake. Justinas Leveika. Does it work?
Very, very correct.
That's great. That's great. How you doing, Ben?
I'm on my Christmas holiday, nah? Last year it was white Christmas in Norway. This year it's gonna be grey Christmas in England. Oh, grey. I mean, warm and grey.
And wet.
And wet. Probably it's England, you know.
Absolutely.
I would be surprised if it wouldn't, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it would be super weird if it was not. No, but no, it's super amazing. So yeah, you are in England for riding bikes or Christmas family reasons, all of it, I think.
It's everything, you know, like, cause I've quite a few of my sponsors based in England, so
Nice.
it's I combine. I try to, you know, like, this is why would you want to live only one life? You need to live all the lives you can live, like. So I'm doing business, family, training, and everything in one. But you are the man who knows also how this is going, like, to
If you can have only one thing to do, I would say that you can have three at least and a couple of more.
exactly.
It's too boring otherwise.
Yeah,
The day is it's too short to do only one
yeah,
thing, I believe. So you have to pack
yeah.
it with more things. No, that's super awesome, actually. Just maybe something that we're gonna talk about all things and organize and structure things maybe later. But let's start from the end. Seems like I got rumors that you were also in UK to ride some cyclocross. How was it?
Yeah, we did it. You know, Josh gets me into some stuff. So, and he's been doing these cyclocross races, and yeah, I'm not unfamiliar with those. I've done already one this year in Lithuania,
Perfect.
when I was having my holiday there. But yeah, now I also brought my bike, and he was like, "Yeah, dude, there is this race on Sunday. Do you want?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's do this." And the biggest, or the most fun for me was starting from the back row, you know, like when you can play this Pac-Man and you're just catching up,
Yeah.
because then you always have someone in front of you, someone to catch, someone to follow the lines, and then you, yeah, and I find this interesting, you know, like, because when you're doing laps, it could sound boring, but on the other hand, you're always looking for lines, right? You know the corners, you learn the corners, you get the sections, and then you did one mistake there, then you try to approach it differently, find the grip, blah blah blah. And this is fun. Like, this is to look for those improvements in every lap to try to get better, faster. I find it interesting.
You know what I find interesting also in lap or loops riding as well, and cyclocross is probably the thing that I see the most about that, is that you can not only check with the person in front of you if you can see them, but also when you have the corners, you can
Yeah,
also check what they're doing on one side and then on the other
yeah,
side and what
yeah,
is doing in the front. You can, first of all, you can learn from a lot of angles, and
yeah,
on the other
exactly.
side, you can also check things from a lot of angles. It's so fun.
Yeah, yeah, and you can support each other, because Josh he had a second row start, but he got involved in a crash in the first corner or second, so he actually ended up behind me in the first lap. But then, yeah, he is flying. That man is on a form, so he
Hmm.
caught me and passed me quite soon. And then I could support him. You know, like, I would see him a couple of corners ahead, because of the twisting,
Hmm.
and so I could shout and yeah, support him, like, "Come on, Josh,
That's
go!"
so. I never considered something like this, but that's the cool thing, right? Because in the end of
Yeah,
the day, we need to think that cyclocross is also a team sport. For you, it was actually
yeah,
friendship team sport, but so you can see also what's going on, and you can
yeah,
also
exactly.
communicate with the other ones, with all the
Yeah,
other contenders. Say, look, you are 2 seconds ahead. Look, or whatever it
uh,
is, and it's nice.
uh, I mean, cyclocross, it definitely deserves more credit than it
Yeah.
has. So I think, and it should be the sport for the, not just, maybe, I don't know, like, I've never tried cyclocross in summer, how that would work, but
No, it's a winter sport.
it is, yeah,
There
kind
are
of.
always rumors that they want to get into the Winter Olympics. It's a winter sport.
It is, yeah. I think so too. That's where it belongs.
Absolutely.
Muddy, shitty, cold, and just 1 hour of power, like, or 1 hour of a heart in your mouth, like.
It's true. I mean, from time to time, you check. Actually, I mean, I studied literature. That's something that we need to say all the time. But also the other side, from time to time, I check these kind of videos of cyclocross. I'm completely into cyclocross. I love it. And I check these videos when there's also the number of watts that you are generating
Yeah,
in the short
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
sections and whatever. And when you see that actually you have peaks of, I don't know, 600, 700,
yeah,
800 watts in some climbs, and then you go down in
yeah,
super technical downhills and then corners and then bunny hopes and whatever. It's oof, 1 hour it's enough.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I wouldn't see it going longer. No, no. I mean, I was laughing, because, yeah. So I have the name now,
Yeah, you're all over the
and
place, man. I mean, in a good way.
yeah. But so so there were some people who recognized me, and they were like, "Oh," and Josh introduced me to some of them, and they were like, "Yeah, yeah, another ultra freak," and I was like, "Yeah, I would love to do this 24 hours, not 1 hour." And but I don't actually know how that would go if you would go those laps in 24 hours. It would
No,
be different.
no. It would be. I mean, it's already quite miserable. So you want to do it also for 24 hours. You can stick. I think that actually, if ultra road cycling as a comparison with the 24 hours kind of races, I believe that the ultra cyclocross races, the comparison with it would be 3 hours, maybe four. So four
Yeah,
hours is
probably.
like 24 in the road. That's what I
You
believe,
know, yeah, yeah.
with everything
Because,
included involved.
yeah, because even those descents, there's so few rest sections
Yeah.
during those races. It's incredible.
I mean, probably you are, I don't know now, actually, your resting heartbeat, but probably in a race like this, you're constantly over 180
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
BPMs.
had the average 192, I think.
Okay. We got
So
it. I
it's
was thinking about 180. No, it's 192. God.
yeah, so it's heart in the mouth. I'm telling you, this is like, yeah, constant.
That's incredible. So let's move in cyclocross. From cyclocross, actually, that's probably a teaser we were talking about that I want to do something about that also for the rest of the season. For now, it's a plan, but hopefully it's
Yeah,
coming. Uh, Justinas, I think that actually talking about people that are, you were introduced to people and people already know you. I mean, people, if you don't know who Justinas is,
yeah, yeah.
uh, you can probably catch up with, I don't know, 8, 9, 10, 12 episodes, 12 podcasts that were around. I mean,
Mm.
amazing, all of them. I listened to all of them. I like them all, I have to say.
Thank you.
But maybe I have to say that just in a few words, we are not going to talk about the Triple Crown. We're not going to talk about the amazing Tour Divide or the Arizona Trail or everything that you have done this year. But give us an intro, something like 3 words. And then I'm going to put in the description below a lot of links of amazing interviews that you have done already this year. But tell us a bit more about you.
So I'm just a happy man who loves to ride the bikes, and the longer the better, and the harder the races is also the ones that I enjoy the most. So that would be me in short summary.
Makes sense. You are living in Norway. This is something that
I do.
probably
Yeah.
can help us out also to put together a bit of context of
Yeah.
things that we're going to say. You live in Norway and you are from Lithuania, right?
Lithuania, exactly. Yeah.
So,
So maybe I should have improved my introduction. So that's, yeah, I'm a Lithuanian living in Norway, and
no, I
and
mean,
that's what
nobody
I do.
cares about nationalities and places where you live. I have to
I
say,
do.
you do?
I do. I want to, like, even though I've been like, yeah, so it's been already 10 years in Norway, but
Wow.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I went there for 5, but now it's 10, so it's a
How
bit
did you
overdue.
ended up there? Then let's talk about that a second.
Yeah, it was work, man. So
Hmm.
I'm a nurse, so when I graduated from my uni in Lithuania, so the system at that time was I didn't see it as one that I wanted to work in, because it was still like post-Sovietic
Mm-hmm.
stuff happening in the hospitals, and yeah, so Norway, like, actually, so yeah, my mom and sister, they live here in England, so
Okay.
I thought I'm gonna end up in England, but during the last years of my studies, one colleague found out about Norwegian hospitals and stuff, and we applied and we got through, and yeah, I ended up in Norway.
That's awesome. And where in Norway are you?
Little place called Tolga.
Okay.
Yeah. I tried Bergen, I tried Oslo, I tried bigger cities, and then I still love those little convenient places. I mean, it's very time consuming, to live in a little place when you don't waste anything in a queues and in traffic, nothing. I can pedal, I don't need to use my car at all, like when I'm at home, because I can ride everywhere I need to. I
Nice.
can do my groceries on a bike and go to work and everything.
I'm checking now on the map, something that I should have done before, where
It's
Tolga is. I mean, it's quite in the, it's not the further north that you can
no,
imagine, but
yeah.
still is decently. How much are we talking? Are we talking about couple of hundred kilometers from Oslo, or
Yeah, it is 250, I think, 60
okay,
something like that. So but Norwegian roads, they are not that fast because they are swingy and
mm,
go through the mountains and stuff. So it takes some time to get to the airport and back. So
yeah,
that's the only drawback with living in Tolga. It's like the travel, because yeah, again, all the racing and traveling that I do. So I would wish to, I wish to have the airport a bit closer,
yeah,
but it's also a price for the convenience that I
yeah,
pay. I'm
yeah.
willing to pay. I'm willing to pay this price.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think that also we're talking about community and cyclocross, also the community of smaller places, especially in places that are that in the north, in conditions that are not optimal for everything. I think they're pretty close. This makes actually
Yeah,
the life better, right?
exactly. Yeah, I said that many times. Like, but when I lived in Oslo, you are surrounded by many people, but you feel alone.
Mm,
And in Tolga, you're surrounded by not that many people. It's like 1,500 people who lives there,
hmm.
but you feel so much so included in everything.
Nice.
Like,
Yeah.
so I love this.
And also with the job that you do, I mean, also there you meet everybody, right?
And
And people can
it has
recognize
it
you.
it has the drawbacks, like there's benefits and drawbacks
Mm.
of the small communities, because then your patients can be your neighbors and
Oh, you
people
don't
that
feel good
you
about that, of course.
yeah, sometimes it makes it harder
Mm.
emotionally, like
Yeah.
seeing your close one struggling, and yeah,
Yeah.
it has different aspects.
Absolutely. No, 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 absolutely. I mean, that's another conversation, super intense. But I believe that
Yeah.
actually, I'm going to actually touch base on that just 1 second because I
Yeah.
like to take side roads. That's why we love cycling, don't we? Because we like to take sideways on conversations. But being so much involved emotionally with your job, that is basically your nurse job, it's super
Mhm.
overwhelming, I believe. And I also can understand how this kind of life can bring you to what's your still good and big part of your life, that is your bike packing, ultra endurance, most of the time
Yeah.
solo,
Mhm.
helps you out actually to catch up back with yourself, your feelings, your
Oh,
all your emotions, and then putting yourself into the extreme also helps you out on processing everything else that is happening, isn't it?
a big time, man. Like I would have probably spent a lot of money on therapy if I would
Mm,
do cycling.
yeah, yeah,
Because cycling is my therapy. Like, I definitely find myself rethinking, thinking, going through everything that I experience at work, and it helps me so much. Like, the cycling is the therapy for me. So I probably wouldn't be the the nurse that I am without cycling. Like, it would be probably different, very different.
but you're still
So
combining the two things, right? You're still being a
yeah,
nurse of and cycling all the time.
I yeah, I find cycling, even though it can be inspirational, you can get the other people, show them around, like show the beauty of this. But still, I like like the nursing. It gives some more meaning in life.
Absolutely. I know absolutely what you
So
mean.
Yeah, so it's a meaningful job, and I don't want to miss this, like, cause like now it's slowly inverting. I'm inverting. Cycling was a hobby, and now it's becoming more like a job, and
Mm.
nursing was a job, and now becoming a hobby.
So it's still something that you don't want to miss in life. It's not that
No, no, no,
finally I reached the point that I can, I don't know, make
no, no,
job, make cycling as a job, and then I will
yeah,
put everything else on a side. No,
no,
that's not for you. You want to keep both.
no, no. Exactly, and yeah, so that's why I kind of downgraded. I was a manager of the care home, but now I'm just a nurse,
Mm.
back to being just a nurse, so that I wouldn't have the same responsibilities of like looking after the economy, the staff, and everything. So now I only look after the patients, and
Looking after people.
that's
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I find fun.
Nice. I mean, that's already a point that actually is so inspirational. It's incredible. Seems like, how would I put that? Really, it looks like that people are using cycling to escape from daily life. And the thing that you're telling me is actually you're using cycling, you are living cycling to, how would you say, enhance actually also your work or something like,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, your nursing side, it's actually enhancing is probably the right word, something like in order to improve everything because everything actually compensates and actually mix up together in your life. As we were telling before, why do
Yeah.
only one thing if you can do two things that makes you a better person, right?
Yeah, yeah. As I said, like I definitely it complements. Maybe that's the
Compliments.
way to put it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it complements like the way how do I see it and how do I do it? Is
That's
it
super nice. That's absolutely super nice. And thanks a lot actually for touch basing on this conversation because that's really super incredible, super inspirational. Seems like we're talking cycling all the time. Life, it's anything else that
yeah.
happens around everything in our lives. So
Cycling, at the end of the day, is just a bicycle race. It's nothing else. Like
yeah,
life is way more than just cycling and stuff. Yeah,
absolutely.
cycling, yeah. So as I said, like it complements the life. It can give you different perspectives to life. And another thing, funny thing, like after those big races, when you damage your body and you barely can get out of the bed, I then can relate to my patients a lot. I know what they're going through, how difficult for them when everything's aching and you barely getting out of the bed and you can't rush them because now I know how it like. And in Kyrgyzstan, I was yeah, going through some lung shit and I couldn't breathe properly.
Mm-hmm.
So then I could also relate to my patients that have breathing problems, that how scary it is to breathe in but not feel that you have taken some air inside,
Mm-hmm.
and all this, like yeah, I'm putting myself into shit so that I could relate better to to
Absolutely. That's super
what the
interesting.
what the patients are going through. Yeah.
Oh yes, that's super incredible. Oh wow. Justinas, it's super incredible actually what you're saying. It's super nice. Thanks a lot for for talking about that. It's something I would never consider. But yeah, it makes sense and also helps you out on putting everything in perspective. As you were saying,
Yeah,
it's just a bicycle race. You get back then to your patients and that's real life.
exactly. So that what also helps me to I don't know, stay humble, or like the like, because yeah, I see that the real problems, they can be different, like, and also when you go through something like troubles in the desert where there's no one, you can have all the money in the world but you'll not get any help because there's
There's nothing.
nothing.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it gives you perspective on things, and what's important and what's not, and what is worth dramatizing and making a big deal of something, and sometimes you just need to laugh at it
And that's it.
and
And
leave it.
everything passes away.
Yeah.
That's true. As I was saying, people, if you want to know more about bicycle races or whatever, down here in the description, I'm gonna mention at least 4 that I've been listening. So other episodes and talking about
Thank
everything
you.
amazing that you have done in 2024. I can probably actually also mention down there also the amazing time that you spent in here close to Lausanne for the Le Mans Gravel Adventure. This was, I think it was the first time that we met in person. It was super
Yeah.
nice. You also had the time this year to come over to Switzerland to experience some amazing racing here from the Le
I
Mans
mean,
Gravel people, from the uh, hmm?
yeah, lemon
Lausanne
gravel.
Gravel
It's
people.
Lausanne gravel, right, right. But that bunch of people are crazy people. I love them so much. I've got like, yeah, it's a strong connection that we made with them, and I loved what they did this year, and I just hope they're gonna do it again next year, and that they didn't burn out because what they put this year, it's amazing. It's crazy.
Absolutely. And they went through a lot of difficulties also to put the race in
Yeah,
place, and still a lot of people
exactly.
came. I remember we met the day before the start of the race, and it was something like a warm up ride or whatever, and 100 people showed up there. That if you think
Yeah,
about
yeah,
just, it was not only participants, people came over from all over Switzerland just to have a
yeah,
glimpse of the event during the pre ride. It's incredible.
exactly.
They are doing
Yeah,
something incredible.
they did an amazing job. I really hope that they're gonna do it again.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk with Philip and Linda and see what they're doing.
Yeah,
But then there, let's start. Probably this one is the best connection. We were in Lausanne, close to Lausanne, and you told me the story about you go to know the Lausanne gravel people, particularly Philippe and Linda, and all the bunch of people that came to your event, the Bright Midnight, the year before. So we're talking about
exactly.
2023, to
Yeah.
enjoy the Bright Midnight. And so there the community, there the connection was made. First of all, in everything. Then we talked about something else, and we're going to talk about that during the podcast. First of all, what's the Bright Midnight?
It's a challenge in Norway where it never gets dark. Like it's also my baby.
Mm-hmm.
It's doing all these races. Like you ride through a magnificent nature, amazing places, but like I'm at the pointy end in the lead. So in order to be there, you have to ride at night and miss a lot of those views
Yeah.
and not to see it. So I think it was in 2022 when I was training for the Three Peaks bike race.
Yeah.
So when I did my training rides in June, and I was a bit like, you don't notice that the nights disappear. You just take it as a granted. And then I was training and it wouldn't get dark. And I was like, it's amazing. I can ride and see everything and still, sleep for a couple of hours, no matter at what time of the day, and still see everything.
Yeah.
That was like, okay, this is something. And later then I would put my training loops into one and I would see that, okay, this is 1,000 kilometers. It's like the golden standard for the ultras is like about 1,000.
Absolutely.
And that's how it all developed and became what it is now. And this year was like a amazing festival atmosphere stuff. Like, you have to come there, man. You have to.
Absolutely. That's one of my. I mean, I have to say that I'm not big in ultra and long distance cycling. Also, because it's not actually my cup of tea. I love riding in the night, don't get me wrong. But I mean, for sure, it's a block. And I think it's a blocker for a lot of people. No shame on that. But doing it in a place where I'm so fascinated about Scandinavia in general, in Norway. I've been talking in this podcast also personally with a lot of people
Yeah,
that they have been actually in Norway, in the northern part of Norway, a lot of times, and everybody keeps on telling me about the amazing light that you can see there, amazing landscapes, and pristine waterfalls, and everything related to that. And I'm really fascinated about that. And also on the other side, riding in a place where when never gets dark,
dark.
basically, I would love actually to come. That's long story
Yeah,
short.
and it doesn't have to be ultra, man. You remember, it can be a stage race. It
Hmm.
can be, you can make yourself like, there have been like amazing women and participants who just took their time to enjoy it, and they would still be able to come to the finish line before the cutoff, and they would have the best time. And this is what I also strongly support. I don't want people to just fly through. Like, come on,
Doesn't make
you're
sense,
there.
right? You're
Yeah,
in.
you're there. You're there to have fun, and okay, fun can be in, as we know, in few types: type 1, type 2, type 3.
Yes.
So, but like it's amazing when you can make a type 1 fun when you're actually having fun while you're doing it. So it's
No, yeah, it's incredible. No, that's really my bucket list because again, I would say, as I was saying, I think that I would love to go to Norway and Norway bicycles with people that I know they're already
yeah,
super nice,
yeah.
organized by friends, amazing landscape, never dark. What do you want?
You would be very welcome. I mean, it's gonna be crazy.
That's awesome. So yeah, everything started then with the Bright Midnight, right? A couple,
Yeah.
2 or 3 years ago. This year was third edition, right?
No, second, and then next year it's gonna be third.
Third
Yeah,
edition.
yeah,
Super nice also because we're talking about the classic. So it's in June. Do you remember it correctly, right? It's in June. We're talking about summer, if we can call it in this way, summer
yeah.
bikepacking, summer ultra racing, ultra riding. And I mean, incredible. I think it's still cold, isn't it? Probably also could be wet and snowy
It
in
it
June.
it can it depends. Yeah, you definitely get to see snow in the mountains.
Nice.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? I mean, you drop down to the fjords and it's like summer there. It's like plus, I don't know, 20, 25 degrees.
Hmm.
And then you ride up to the mountains, up in altitude. Oh, altitude is like about 1,500 meters. But the snow is still there, and
Of
and it
course.
can get chilly.
Absolutely. But
Yeah,
it's some so but still we can consider being bright midnight is summer, isn't it?
it is. Yeah.
And now you are working, and that's the second thing that you told me. Even if I got honestly, I got a hint. Let's start from the beginning. I got this fascination about winter bike packing last year because I was talking with Jack from Albion about his experience on the Fat Viking, it's called,
Yes,
that is
it is.
also in Norway, right? Is this
It is.
ultra
Yeah.
endurance race in Norway in winter. I saw it, I sucked everything in, I got fascinated, I got to know about everything else that is around. And then he told me, look, why don't you talk about this with Justinas? It was last year. He's also doing something there. 1 year later, here we are. What do you have in your hat, let's say, in for
All right.
next
So
year?
let's get this out of the hat then. Yeah. So the Fat Midnight.
Fat Midnight. I honestly, because I don't know what happens to my brain, but creativity jumped off my head as well. I thought it would have called the Dark
Dark
Midnight,
Midnight.
but
Yeah,
no,
but
never so dark.
that's what I want. Like yeah, bright, dark, right? It would be the
Hmm.
the 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 actual the sequence, but yeah, dark might be associated with a darkness, like with a dark, and something dark might be scary, blah blah blah. And
Absolutely. Yes, yes.
so
It's
I
not
don't know, like
positive.
yeah, so fat is fat, like fat bikes, fat midnight. So it's
It's
it's gonna be like
nice.
a
Yeah,
fat
yeah.
midnight, and that's gonna be like because like it's living where I live. I have like 6 months of winter or like 6 months of snow, plus or minus.
Hmm.
So if you don't like winter activities, you are fucked. Like
Absolutely.
you,
Yeah.
you've chosen the wrong place to live in, and I had to learn to like it. Like I wasn't probably the biggest fan of winter and fat biking before,
Hmm.
but I found it so much fun. Like in the latter years when I would do it and ride and train on snow, and it's a like completely different sort of cycling. You are way more engaged, like with the nature, because everything happens way slower.
Hmm.
You are riding in amazing landscapes where it's just like there are days when there are just two colors, white and black. Like it looks like it's just someone put a filter, like,
Nice.
but it's so insane. Like
Mm,
I've never experienced that anywhere else apart from there.
yeah.
Of course, like yeah, I haven't done many. I've done the fat Viking twice.
Okay.
This is the other race that happens in Norway, and I really love how they do it. But as with Bright Minute as well, I like I don't like to criticize or like what other people could do better and blah blah blah. If I think that this can be done better, I'll better do it better.
Exactly.
Instead of like saying that they could do this and that and that. So kind of that's how the Fat Midnight has been like on the project and how I developed it and how I see it. And the biggest kind of problem for the people is that they live in places where they don't need a fat bike
Hmm.
more than once per year. Like so it's like very stupid to buy yourself a bike that you wouldn't use regularly. So I was working closely with Trek to get the fat bike so that the people actually could fly to Fat Midnight just with a hand luggage and the bike would be there.
Nice.
It's gonna be like a full winter experience. Like because there's a lot to learn. Like it that the learning curve has been steep to ride in the winter. Like in order to enjoy it, I mean, you can ride it
In course,
but
all the time.
yeah, but like to enjoy it, you have to know a bit about it, and I feel that I've reached the level where I could teach someone
Hmm.
this, and that's how. So it's gonna be both. Like it's gonna be like winter riding experience for those who doesn't feel like racing,
Hmm.
and we're also gonna have a like a one weekend where it's gonna be a race, or like where you're gonna put yourself through the test.
It sounds all incredible. But tell us more about. Maybe we should say it first of everything else. When is gonna happen?
So yeah, I had the plan because it's a bit like dependent on my all other races that I do,
Of
you know.
course.
But so like to start at the beginning,
Yes.
there is this like so the everybody knows about Iditarod, right?
Ah,
And that's
yes. Yeah, I don't know
dog.
if everybody knows it, but
Yeah,
everybody should know.
it is a dog sled race, or like it is a winter race happening in Alaska.
Yeah.
It's actually it's one of the oldest like winter trails, and dog sleds would make the trail, and the cyclists and the skiers and actually even the walkers would follow the trail. It is 1,000 miles long from Anchorage to Nome.
Oof.
And that's what I kind of wanted to do this year, but I was a bit late to the registration, and it's a bit unclear if I'm gonna get a spot or not. So
But how
so
does it
that's
work? You need to have a brevet, right? Something like you need to
yeah,
prove that
but
you can do other races.
yeah, the Fat Viking actually is a qualification race for
Qualification is
the.
called.
So it's I'm qualified to do the 350, which you would start with, and then you get the invitation to do 1,000.
Okay. So you would do
Uh,
this year the 350.
yeah,
This
if
is
I'm
your
gonna get the
this
spot.
would be the plan. Okay.
This would be the plan, and that's why the Fat Midnight. And I wanted the Fat Midnight to happen not in the very coldest time of the year, so not February or
Hmm.
January, but like later in March, when actually the day becomes more or less equal to the night,
Hmm.
and the sun is not only shining but also warming a bit.
Hmm.
So, and then you get those blue skies, white mountains, and you're just out there on these trails.
Nice.
So it's gonna be March, and I think we're gonna have quite a few weekends, like and the weekends then will be. You would come on like Friday or Saturday. We would make the bike ready for you, like fit the bike, and then we would ride. And it probably would be riding from one mountain hut to another, and we would sleep there. Make like it's gonna be like a community vibe as well, because
Nice. Yeah.
yeah, you would still ride together in those experience weekends where you just like want to get to know what's winter cycling is about and
Hmm.
fat biking. And then there would be that one weekend where we're gonna do it more like a race, like a
Okay.
challenge, proper with less support, and more like a one go.
That's nice. So basically, the concept is that let's put it something like in time frame. More or less, we said in March you would organize a few, let's say two
Yeah,
weekends where people can really spend one way from one mountain hut to the other, and then maybe probably the day after back home. So a couple
yeah,
of
yeah.
days
It's
riding,
I think it's gonna be like 4 days,
4 days.
uh, 4 days riding, yeah, and then so you would finish on probably Wednesday and Thursday or Wednesday you book the
Okay,
flight and
perfect.
leave. But it's gonna be and we're thinking like about saunas and
Oh,
ice bathing,
yeah.
and all this stuff. And for those who don't want to ride the bikes, because skiing is also cross country skiing, so we're probably gonna have quite a few pairs of skis to for the people to learn to cross country ski, and it's gonna be like a full winter experience, like a
Oh,
package
nice.
where you get to see like deep snow, lots of snow, experience some cold mornings in the hut where you wake up, start a fire. It's cozy, it's nice, and then you get out, ride, and then you get back or get into the sauna, roll in the snow.
That's nice.
It's fun, huh?
And actually, yeah, you were mentioning cross country ski. I think that actually in this kind of situation, fat bikes and cross country skis, more or less the speed is the same, isn't it?
It is very similar. I can tell you that. Like, oh man, those who can ski, they ski as fast as they ride the bike. It's crazy how fast they can go.
No, that's nice. That's nice. And this is gonna happen also in the area where you live, like the Bright
Yeah,
Midnight, right? In the
yeah.
Tolga area.
I have the network there to create those things, and I know the people who I need to know to that this to happen to become a reality. So yeah, that's why I chose it.
Yeah,
Convenient to me. I don't know what it's gonna take in the future, but at the beginning it's gonna be there. Yeah.
exactly. There's a lot of snow, anyways. Um,
And another thing, like yeah, because Iditarod is associated with a dog sled race, right?
yeah.
And in Tolga, actually, there is a checkpoint for the dog sled race happening in my region. So
Oh, nice.
I see, like in the future, I want to create like an European Iditarod. Like it wouldn't be called Iditarod European, but like what Mike Hall kind of did, bringing transcontinental to Europe after he would do the Tour Divide.
Yes.
So I kind of want to do a similar thing with a fat bike.
I mean, it sounds absolutely incredibly good. And the thing that I want to ask you, so you're trying to put this one into play. I mean, you're a quite well-known person, I would say, now in the ultra endurance cycling, and it's super nice because ultra bikepacking at the moment seems like it's gravitating all the time in some summer, springish setups, right? The first race of the year is in February, I would say.
More plus, yeah.
Exactly, the Atlas Mountain Race, right? But it's in
Yeah.
Morocco. So basically, there. Last time that I was there, that was actually also the first time the race was there, and I'm talking about 2020. And I remember actually spending February, and I remember I was actually spending something like most of my days, all my days, in shorts, and I was in the car anyways
Yeah.
recording. So I was spending the days outside without exercising, but still in shorts. A small story. One of my shorts that I still use, they still have a little spot because one piece of curry meat in a kind of a village, so there we got some meat, dropped on my pants. I couldn't take it away. I mean, the curry there is so strong. That's another story.
Yeah.
But still, we're talking about them. February, Atlas Mountain Race is already in a spring, summerish kind of
It
situation.
is.
And
It
then
is. Yeah.
everything evolves into these warmer days, right?
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
I mean, I'm quite of a person, I mean, quite big into at least absorbing all these things. So ultra endurance race, I never got to know anything about winter bike packing before knowing about actually all the races around last year,
Yeah.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's super good that a
The-
personality like you is doing this. Tell me more.
Yeah, but this is the thing. There is so much, and this is why I want to do better. This is I love the fat Viking and what they do there, but I believe that this is way more than just one ride in Norway. It could be it has to be shown to people. It has to be uh a lot of people like see the cold, and all this like oh no, I don't want this. But it is beautiful. It is beautiful outside. The proper winter, like it sounds stupid, right? But when you say that, oh, it's not that cold actually. So like -10, -15, all these temperatures, they look scary,
Hmm.
right? When you look like, and you say, oh shit, it's so cold. It is not actually that cold when you know what you're doing. So I want to decrease the risks or learn to deal with the risks that can happen in the colder
Hmm.
air temperatures, and how to deal with like similar to a bit more like survival stuff,
Yeah.
like it's not gonna be like military stuff where you're gonna jump in a lake, be all wet, and you'll have to start a fire and make a tent and all this.
Yeah.
No, it's way 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 less scary than this. It's still gonna be even if you don't want to sleep outside, you're not gonna be forced to sleep outside. We'll make sure that there are places to sleep inside. And
Okay.
but I want to I don't know the word in English, but decriminalize like the winter cycling,
Yeah.
to make it less scary, like to make it more friendly, and that the people could enjoy it more and experience it. Like it's an experience. It's an amazing experience that someone living in the south of Spain probably don't get much
Hmm.
of. And there they could come, experience it in a safe environment, being taken care of, being shown how to,
Yeah.
and everything's kind of arranged. You just need to get there, and that's it, and the rest will sort out.
No, that's great. Yeah, because I mean, winter activities, outdoor winter activities, they come out with a lot of gear that you need to arrange yourself, right? Because
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
bike is the visible thing. Because
Yeah.
I mean, even if I love a look of a super good fat bike, I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm in love. Also, my bicycle that I use every day for my commuting, it has 2.6, I think, inches tires.
Ooh.
Absolutely not needed
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
road cycling into the city and coming back, but I love it. I love the
Yeah. Yeah.
aesthetics. I love how it feels. I love the freedom of going on whatever trail with no problem. So
Exactly.
I love it.
Yeah.
But still, even if I would love to have a fat bike, how much is going to be needed in? And still, I live
Exactly.
close to the mountains. I live in Zurich. Is not needed at all.
Yeah.
So I can imagine that actually this already being taken care of for the Fat Midnight is already great. But comes out with a lot of other things. I mean, winter boots,
Yeah.
for example.
Yeah. But like not everything is necessary.
Mm.
Like most of people own hiking boots already,
Yeah.
right? So, and that's another thing you can, and there's where we talked a bit, like yesterday I met the Albion guys and we talked about having some Zoa jackets,
Yeah.
like exactly. So we could have the jackets also ready for the participants who would come, and maybe they don't own a outdoor jacket, which would be good or technical, like breathability and the insulation and all this stuff. So that we would also make sure that that's available. So, but the rest, actually, the winter cycling is not exactly same. It doesn't. You don't need the same like bibs and all these stuff. Like you still can do it with a like a not training trousers. I mean, you. I'm sure that most of the people already own a lot of the kit that they could use for the winter biking, and that's where also the newsletters and everything would reach them. Like we would provide a list and answer the questions.
Hmm.
What do they have? What do they need to bring? And what they need to prepare, and if they're not gonna have this, so maybe we'll probably be able to sort them out with that.
Yeah, because this is in the Bible of the outdoor activity. Let's say the golden rule of the outdoor activities in winter is layer yourself up. You don't
Exactly.
need specific things, but until you
Yeah.
have different layers, warmer layers, but lighter, and then the things on top of it, everything finishing with, of course, your waterproof kind of pants or jacket or
Yeah.
whatever, everything is all right, right? So that's the most
Exactly.
important thing to say, probably.
Yeah, you have to become an onion.
Yeah, exactly. The onion kind of yes philosophy or structure. That's the thing that you
Yeah.
have to do, and that's what, as you were actually saying, I love the word decriminalizing. You don't need all the gears. You probably have most
Yeah.
of the things at home. You just need to learn how to use them.
Exactly, and yeah, it's a basic principle, like principles that the merino wool has to be the closest to your body. That's it. Like, because wool warms you even when it's wet. So, and sweat is your enemy. So that's why winter riding is like perfect, because you don't push too hard. Like you actually can't push too hard, because then you'll get wet, sweaty,
Hmm.
and sweat is cold, basically.
Yeah,
That's what makes you cold. So as long as you stay dry, and that's by opening the zippers, like making yourself, like when you're riding uphill, you just unzip some of the layers, and let the air come in and breathe, and yeah, it's a beauty. Like
absolutely.
it's a different sport. Like that's exactly like it's not about the FTP or the endurance. It's about, like, having fun out there,
Being outside.
being outside.
No, that's super nice. And shall we talk about some highlights of the route? Do you have already an idea, or
Um,
one places that you think,
yeah.
okay, this is gonna be the place?
Yeah. So, like crossing, just getting out of the tree line and crossing over the
Oof.
mountains,
Okay.
and getting on the top, and seeing those white tops all around you. It's magnificent. And even if it's foggy, you get this other sense where I told you, like the black and white sense.
Hmm.
I know some people might even, yeah, you you might even become sick, a bit sick, because you would lose the sense of the horizon. Like,
I know what you mean. Yes, it's like
yeah,
being, yeah. Because basically, it's like you are surrounded by nothing. You don't know.
yeah,
You have no
exactly.
orientation. That's what I meant.
No, no, because the fog and the snow, it meets and it creates just this flat surface. Everything looks like if you wouldn't have the black tire in front of you, like the bike, you wouldn't know where's the top, where's the ground, like what's where. So it's a very strange feeling, and but also one that I love. So it's gonna we're not gonna go to the fjords. That's not gonna be there. But we're gonna go over the flatlands and highlands and
No
forests
climbs,
and stuff.
so not so much climbs is gonna be involved. Basically,
Cross country skiing is
flat.
still quite punchy, small
Mm.
climbs, but we're gonna do, there's gonna be some climbing, and if the winter weather conditions turn a bit sideways, so it's starting to blow, so the snow becomes very, the powder, it's been blown on the trail, so you might need to push your bike for some time.
Of course.
So it's walking, pushing, riding. It's a combination of everything.
Yeah.
So no exact highlights apart from, experience the white forest. I'm gonna make sure that the Fat Midnight Instagram account is up and running
Okay.
by the time we're releasing this,
Of course.
so that the people could go there and watch. I'll upload most of the rides that I've already done, and for them to get a sense of what they could experience there.
Absolutely. So it's not about the places that people are gonna see, but it's about the conditions and landscapes that they're gonna experience, basically.
Exactly. I'm leaning more towards that you're gonna get the winter experience
Nice.
rather than the views or something.
Perfect. And how is gonna be? So it's gonna be, as I understand, it's gonna be. I mean, as I can imagine, it's gonna be a track, predefined track already, and it's gonna be, I don't know, something like in loops, or how does it
Yeah.
work?
So we are lucky that where I live there is groomed cross country skiing trails.
Yeah.
And we're also looking to get the permission to drive the snowmobile in some areas. So it's gonna be a combination of some dog sled trails, of some cross country skiing trails, and some scooter trails. Yeah.
Oh man, it sounds already incredibly good. I need to ask you two more questions because I'm super curious about that.
Yeah.
The first thing is because these are things that I really like. The first thing is sleeping. You were actually mentioning that you can sleep outside, basically then in tents or in outside
BV.
BVs
Yeah.
or whatever. BV is good. BV is still alright, despite from
Yeah,
the
yeah.
temperature, right?
But there are, yeah. So the sleeping bag is actually essential, and
Of
the
course.
pad and the bivy then can actually
Yeah.
make you comfortable outside too.
But still, there are some mountain huts that people can
Oh
use, you
yeah,
think?
yeah, yeah. That's for sure. So for those who want to touch a bit of an extreme, they can sleep or they can try to sleep outside, and if it doesn't go well, they can get inside. So
Okay.
we'll have the bailout options and stuff. So
The most important thing is that you need to reach it. I'm talking about the race, of course, because probably
yeah,
into the weekends you are trying to keep also the group maybe not all together, but still
yeah,
foreseeable.
yeah.
But for the race, maybe, but probably for the race already, people already experience on.
Yeah, this is what I want, like, like I don't want to throw people into something that they have never done before, because this is more or less recipe for disaster.
Absolutely.
So, so I want to teach them to swim before I throw them in an open sea. So the first couple of years gonna be about this, and as I said, like for the in far distance, I see this race joining that dog sled race, so that it would be happening together with the dog sled race happening in the region where I live.
Perfect. But it's gonna be anyways. I'm talking about the weekend of the race or whatever the weekend of
Yeah,
the race. This is gonna be still unsupported, or what do you
yeah,
think?
yeah. It's unsupported. Yeah,
Okay, that's
with
perfect.
the checkpoints. So those checkpoints gonna be not virtual. It's gonna be like places where you can actually
Yeah.
get yourself warm again, and we can also check the riders if they are not getting any frostbites and anything.
Oh gosh, now it started being actually a bit scarier than it should be. But the other thing that I want to ask you, because sleeping is probably the thing that I'm missing the most and I love the most at the moment. But the second thing that I really like in life is eating. How does it
Yeah.
work with we eating for this kind of events when outside is minus 15? Everything is basically an ice
Yeah.
cream.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, this is a thing that I had to learn,
Yeah.
because try to bite a Snickers when it's like fucking frozen. Yeah. So you have to keep stuff close to your body, like water as well. Like
Ah,
don't
it's true.
forget this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in winter there are some streams that don't freeze because they are constantly running. So you can actually access fresh water even in winter. But you always want to have those thermo flasks, where you can keep the boiling water, and the dried meals, they become your best friends, because then you carry some dried meals, you have some boiling water, you pour them, you stop on the rock and you sit and you eat and you just enjoy it. But
Nice.
yeah, snacking, so the nuts and raisins, they don't freeze usually, so I use a lot of those.
Okay.
And yeah,
Super.
it's it's a
It's
learning.
another. It's a learning. I mean, it's completely different, right? Of what you usually do.
Exactly.
It.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, but that's the simple things as you're coming up with, like, yeah, food, water, the things that you don't think about when you go out for a ride in a plus degrees, that they're not gonna freeze or happen anything. But like, yeah, in -15 things work differently.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, sleeping for sure, eating, and of course, I mean, your physiology things. So going at the toilet, that's another thing. But I think
Yeah,
I experienced this one on my side when I usually go to ski. The most important
yeah.
thing there is be quick, and nothing actually usually happens.
You're not gonna scroll through your phone while you.
So no, 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 no. You need to be quick, and that's it. And yeah, and then apart from that, yes, as you were saying, I think it's just all the time and take care of yourself first of all, and then take
Yeah,
care of your key of your gears. That is actually, of course, the bikes and whatever, and be
yeah,
sure that it doesn't freeze. Leaving the bicycle
yeah.
outside in the morning could probably be a bit of a
And
piece of ice.
electricity is a thing that doesn't also it goes with a cold. It works, but the battery life is always reduced, so
Yeah.
you have to learn quite a few things about. So and again, this is what I want to share, my knowledge that I
Mm.
already have, and how to get the most out of it.
Perfect. But are you thinking already? I mean, you talked already about your future goal, about this event that is actually trying to make the Idita Trail in Europe with
Yes.
this new thing that you're doing in a couple of years. That's actually the
Yeah.
perspective. But then you think that actually you're making like the Fat Viking is doing something like to make it as also, how did you call it, something like to make it possible then to take part to the Fat Midnight and then qualifying
Yeah. Yeah.
for this, or you think
Yeah.
about that as a two different things?
So I think it's gonna be like it's still so this is gonna be the school to get to that
Okay.
later part. Like, so that's why I don't want to jump already in this deep end of the pool and start this. Even though I know lots of Europeans who travel to Alaska to do the Iditarod, and they already experienced riders in the winter. And in Fat Viking also I meet them.
Okay.
Uh, but yeah, the experience riding in winter is going to be essential to in order to do this race. I mean, winter is beautiful, but heat is less of a danger than the cold. Like, the cold can fuck you up faster than the heat, actually.
Absolutely. Things can go down ways,
Yeah,
yes, super quickly with cold.
very fast.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's super nice. I have a couple of questions still to ask you.
Yeah.
So we talked about the area where everything is gonna happen, and we talked about actually the concept and everything like that. Maybe that's something that I want to ask you. That's what I had in mind. You were talking about partners and
Uh-huh.
sponsors of the race. Tell me more about that. Not because we want to talk and make
Yeah.
advertising, even if most of them they're friends of mine, so I'm happy to give them a bit of visibility, but because for these kind of events, sponsor are not gonna only be people that are paying for the video that you're doing, still super amazing thing, don't get me wrong, but it's gonna be essential to put
Yeah.
this thing in place. It's gonna be your idea with the support of real support. Shall we talk about them?
Yeah, so there are, as I said, like things we're building up. So Albion's probably gonna be the crucial, the providing some winter clothing and bringing the knowledge. The main designer in Albion, Graham, he's
Amazing guy, by the way, amazing
yeah.
guy, shout out to him, he does amazing
Yeah,
things.
exactly. So, and he knows so much about the thermoregulation in the body and everything. So I find it very fascinating to talk to him
Mm.
and learning from him as well. So and so that's gonna be so Albion's gonna be crucial here.
Mm-hmm.
The bikes. So we're gonna get Trek to sponsor us with some bikes, and so
Nice.
that the people wouldn't need to take theirs. Um, in the long term as well, I want to develop Poggies because for the next year probably we're just gonna have some commercially available ones, but I think that's a thing that also Albion could make at some some point.
You said Poggy.
Poggies. They are just like your gloves that you fit on the handlebars.
They're called Poggies. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, they're called poggies. Yeah.
Okay.
So these are essential in winter riding because like if it's -15, no matter the thickness of the gloves, your hands might freeze still, and those things. Oh my God! Like you can basically ride without gloves if it's like down to -5, something like
No,
that.
really.
They really keep the warm inside there on the handlebars as well. So these are like the two essential things. Like and Tailfin probably gonna make some bags, nice
Of
bags for
course.
the bikes,
Yeah.
so that we could have them
Yeah.
equipped, so that people also wouldn't need to bring their bags and stuff.
Yeah. But you also gonna have some support and all to call it from your local areas, right? So the region, the municipality, how do you want to call it?
Yeah. So they're gonna help us to get the permissions, to do the snow scooter driving, because in Norway it's not actually allowed to do it wherever you want,
Okay.
and I like it, and I want to respect that. So we'll see what we can do over there, and yeah. So will use the groomed trails. So we need to also thank the association that does that.
Yeah.
So there are quite a few people involved, and the local bike shop, the Leveika,
Yeah.
and the owner. So I also wouldn't be able to do this without him. So it's gonna be a
Cycle
lot.
Mecca is called.
Yeah, it's Leveika.
Okay, nice. I always love to talk about local bike shops. It's my freaking life. I love it. I love it. They are so important.
Yeah. It is a crucial also partner in Bright Midnight as well.
That's super nice. That's cool. And the last thing, I mean, I think that actually you thought about this idea with, I mean, again, taking part to the Fat Viking and thinking about the Edita and everything like that. But I have in mind that actually in order to develop this concept, you also talked with a lot of people, and people would say at a certain point, I don't know, for example, just to check the route with them, scouting, or just having a sparring partner to talk about the idea. You talk with a lot of people. How many of those you heard from saying, I'm gonna come? And how many people do you think are gonna, what kind of people do you think are gonna participate? Who do you see they are coming?
So a lot has, like, everybody. I don't know. Maybe they're just. Maybe I'm a good. Like, I don't see myself as a good seller,
but
I really
you are good on transmitting your enthusiasm, so that's contagious, man.
But I really believe in this. Like, I think that helps a lot, because I believe in this introduction of winter cycling to the masses and making it less scary. And I think this can be really a thing, and with the help with the partners, so I think we can develop it into something bigger. So a lot of people who have never tried winter biking and fat biking, they want to come and do this. But how many actually will?
No,
I
numbers are
hope
not
some.
important. I was a bit more interested on, and probably I actually phrased it not in the right way. I was more interested
In the, yeah.
in the response, the feedback that you got
That's the
from
most,
people.
yeah.
That's incredible.
The response is that everybody who I tell them about this, they want, and as soon as I mentioned that the bike's gonna be there, so everybody's like, okay, I'm in.
Sign me up.
Exactly.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait actually to see more of that. And yeah, I think that actually, yes, that's it. Now I'm really, really curious on what is going to happen. Something that we had to say is that around the going live and the posting of this conversation, we will know more. So probably here in the description below, and maybe something that I'm going to say before this recording, we are going to know when the exact dates are going to be, the Instagram account that you were mentioning to chase all the images and your winter riding that you were mentioning, website, I would say, and the way for registration. But I mean, till now, sounds just like, I can't wait, an incredible adventure.
Yeah, I hope that. Yeah, I know that lots of people already plan their next year, but I hope it's not going to be too late and people just gonna find it's. As I said, it's going to be in March and it's going to be over a couple of weekends. So if one weekend doesn't fit, so maybe the other one will. So
Yeah. And anyways, this is gonna be a premiere, right? It's gonna be the first
yeah, yeah,
edition, most probably of
it
many.
it's a better version
Yeah,
of that.
exactly. But it's good that
Yeah,
actually you're already involving all the people on that. And something that we can do actually, we can start planning for another conversation like this after it, or maybe for the launch
yeah,
of the second edition,
that,
where we are gonna talk how things are going. This is gonna be
exactly.
awesome.
Because it's like winter cycling. You never know.
Exactly. And one season, one way is already like this for all the ultra cycling, right? One, even
Yeah,
if you plan the same race, the same track,
yeah,
and the same everything, it can change from one year to the other, especially with
exactly.
the situation that we're living now on planet Earth. But with
Yeah,
winter, it's even more. I mean,
yeah.
the options are
I
there.
yeah. I hope the snow will not melt in March. You know, it never does. So I think this. I hope next year it's not going to be an exception.
Exactly, it's gonna be another premiere. No, but it's super great. I really can't wait to know more about that. And the last question that I want to ask you is a bit more on Justina's side of the word. What are you planning for next year?
Planning. You
I know
know
I
how
know this thing
planning.
because you are more or
Yeah,
less like me. You do things on the way.
yeah,
And
exactly. So, and this is why I haven't got a spot in the Ditaro because I didn't plan it well enough and I missed the
yeah,
registration and stuff. No, but I'm gonna race. I'm gonna do some racing. So my first part of the year probably until like it's gonna be more busy with like fat fat biking and fat
so you're not
biking
gonna
and
go
fat
to
limit.
any winter summer winter classic
Probably not.
preparations.
Uh, unless I'm gonna get a huge fear of missing out, and
Of
then I'm
course.
gonna suddenly sign up to something if somehow the organizers will allow me to join late. But that's not on the plan
Okay.
as per now. But I want to get myself out of my comfort zone for the next year.
Nice.
So that means a free route race.
Okay.
Yeah, and probably the one crossing the Europe.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Without
so
mention it, but I know what you mean.
no, like no secrets.
Okay.
But there's gonna be definitely quite a few preparation races, like where I'm gonna just do training racing. So I, d- I don't have a like I have a wish list, but that's very long, so I can't even start mentioning everything, and I don't even remember everything.
Makes sense.
But it's gonna be, yeah. So probably the transcontinental, but be the one that I'll try to get my spot on because it's
Nice.
also not given.
Yes.
And I don't know if I'm gonna go back to overseas.
Mm.
I've spent so much time this year in America,
Yeah.
so I don't know how much I miss it next year. Uh, but in general, I'm just gonna live life, enjoy
I,
bikes,
I mean,
and
I
have
mean,
fun.
you know why I actually ask you this question? Because I just wanted to know if you're coming back around here, Switzerland, soon next year. But
Oh,
you know already
for
that if you're
sure.
coming over, give me a shout, huh?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But that's for sure. That's why I hope that the Lausanne gravel guy is gonna put something again. And if not, I'm just gonna go and visit them again, and then I'll visit you too.
That's
So.
awesome. Yeah, 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 absolutely. I can't wait for that. No, that's really awesome. Just I want to make a little comment. Actually, we're mentioning long road races that crosses continents. You have already a super good how is it called, speed suit, right? For aero suit for that. So I mean, you how shouldn't you not doing it? So yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I love these details. I love this the play around, you know. So there's a lot of things that fascinates me, but I also hate the free route races because I kind of see them as more dangerous than the
mm,
fixed route races because in order to be fast, you have to stay on the fastest roads, and the fastest roads usually have the most cars and blah blah
No,
blah.
you're right. You know what I
But
really like actually about yourself as a, I don't want to call you a character, but actually as a person, is that you are super, you know how to nerd into things. And I got a glimpse out of it when we were talking about all the preparation about clothing to go out for winter. But also on the other side, you are also quite spontaneous on doing things. So
yeah,
it's already a lot about, okay, I would love to do this and to do that, whatever, but still, it's not actually that you're going out and do something completely out of the blue. You like also to nerd into things.
yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
aero suit, the aero helmet that you usually wear for your races, even if they are mountain bike races and stuff. These are things that actually I really like about yourself as a person. Something like the two different aspects. It's super nice.
I don't know how this water and fire is combined, but yeah, it's somehow I have this mixture of this unplanned planning. I don't know how to call it. Like, yeah,
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, actually, I don't know if it's already out, but actually, there is this film. Is the King of Cows, and actually, how
yeah.
everybody calls you also in the other podcast. This actually probably defines in one go directly your person. So it's awesome.
Yeah, so about that actually, so yeah, I'm gonna go and meet Tailfin in the next days in Bristol, because he also based here in UK,
Yeah.
and we're gonna do the last, because again, the original plan for the film was to do like two shoots, like one in the winter when where they were and what they used to release the teaser, and the second was after the divide, and just like to sum it up. But because my season took a turn after divide, and I decided to do this triple and all this, so the I think the movie is gonna get longer than it was expected. And the director Fraser, he's gonna come in actually the very first days of the new year when I'm gonna get back home. So he's gonna come and we'll do the final shooting and
Nice.
summing up the year.
I mean, but that's already. I'm already looking forward for that. But I also have to say that Tailfin at the moment they are producing so many cool films. They are doing something
Exactly.
really. I was talking with Josh about that. They're doing so
Yeah.
many amazing things.
Yeah.
I can't
But
really
that's
wait.
but that's the they have this guy, the special the master Fraser,
Hmm.
who is amazing at creating. I mean, all of that. The team there is just another level. I love those guys so much. I mean, the creativity. I love that they put as much work in creating the bags as they do in uh, marketing them, like
Yes, 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 yes.
creating these amazing videos, and because not many people do that, and I love the pioneering stuff that they kind of lead by the example.
Absolutely. That's another topic that I would love to touch base actually on the podcast now that you let me think about that.
Yeah,
Taking out some of these creative minds beyond and actually behind the creative production on yes, on the cycling
yeah,
or whatever that we like to experience. And probably yes,
exactly.
the Telfin people is gonna be some of those. But it's all right.
Yeah.
Justinas, it was an incredible couple of hours talking with you. I loved it. Thanks a lot for taking
Uh,
the time.
Me too, man. Stefano, thank you so much for having me here and willing to listen to all my bullshit. And yeah, sorry for the listeners who had to hear this from time to time, but I really did want to postpone this conversation. I loved it. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Justinas. I will talk to you soon. And thanks a lot, Justinas, for being the Kickstarter of the season number 8 of the BroomWagon Podcast. If somebody would have told me in a night of, now we are in 2025, it was 2016, 15, with the spin cake, that I would arrived at season number 8, 9, and actually with +1 of the spin cake, 9 years in a row recording this podcast. I could never imagine it. Never imagine it. Thanks a lot, Justinas, to kickstarting this episode and this season with your amazing story and with your amazing Fat Midnight. And I can't wait to know more about it. And maybe I will really need to go to Norway to ride some bikes together with Justinas in that amazing side of the world. Apart from that, everybody, just remember to follow the Fat Midnight wherever you can, Justinas on the Instagram, and also the Bright Midnight there. And also remember that if you want to follow the BroomWagon Podcast, the BroomWagon Podcast is on Instagram, as well as myself, CalamaroCC. And then down below, you can really find the coffee link where you can drop a couple of coins to make these episodes and this season and this podcast independent again. Your support is really important for me. People, this year, these episodes are going quite in a constant way. No, it's not constant. An even way, but also quite proximate one to the other. Soon with another episode. Stay tuned. I will see you soon.